you talk to him at all during the offseason? Did you have any influence, impact, or anything like that?
There's nothing that we could say that was gonna, be like, oh, you know what, that's gonna be the thing that's gonna bring me back. I think he's doing what was best for him and his family. What he felt like he wanted to accomplish as a player, and how he saw his legacy on the way out. So I don't think there was anything for us to say to him.
How important is it to have not just Dwayne, but Udonis back to the years in this team?
No, yeah, I've always said Udonis has been a bigger, factor on this team as anybody. Just because he's not out there on the court all the time doesn't mean that he doesn't have, a big voice that echoes throughout the locker room. We listen to everything that he says because he's a three-time champion. He knows what it takes to hold that trophy at the end of the year. So, why wouldn't we listen to what that man has to say?
Key piece of this team here is obviously going to be Hassan Whiteside. Have you spoken to him throughout the offseason here? I know you had a rough playoffs. What's his mindset heading into this year?
He seems very motivated. We've had a chance to hang out a little bit over the summer, but he seems very motivated. I know that he wasn't happy with the way things finished up last year. So I think you'll see a different player.
Tyler, points of emphasis for you for skill development this summer. What was your focus?
You know what, the physical part of basketball, I think the Heat will always have you ready. I think there's not anything particular that you need to work on because they're going to touch on every point of it. I think the thing that we as players don't focus enough time on is what I kind of said last year, is that mental side of basketball. Being able to come in and put the same amount of work in every day, understanding what your body needs, when it's time to, not push yourself so hard and make sure your body's physically ready for the game, and when it's time to kind of amp it up a little bit. So the Heat will do everything in their power to have you physically ready to play basketball for the season. They love to run you, they love to do all that, but it's because I think from a physical standpoint, we're as ready as anybody in the league. I think the other side of basketball is where I focus.
And has Spo given you any idea if it's going to be more two, perhaps starting, or more backup one, or equal combination of both?
We haven't really spoke about that per se. His main focus for me this offseason was to get back to where I was at the year before, where I was just able to make plays all over the court, both offensively and defensively. And when I'm doing that, the role really doesn't matter.
Tyler, because you majored in math in college, you have 13 guys, you can all get minutes. There's only 240 minutes in an NBA game. Do you guys sort of realize that there might be times where you play a lot and not play a lot? And what's it like when you probably have 13 legitimate roster players?
I majored in communication.
Well, I thought, but the way you talk about math and do the beautiful mind stuff.
No, we did. It's there's going to be some times where some guys are left out of the rotation. I thought it was kind of like that last year too. I think it's always been like a staple of the Heat to have 13, 14 guys who can be ready to play at any time. And I think it really just is going to come down to matchups and how Spo sees fit that certain guys match up with certain players, and who's playing really well at the time.
There are a lot of options, obviously, for starting two guard with Dion out likely to start the season. Is that something that appeals to you for a guy who at one time loved coming off the bench? Does starting appeal to you?
I mean, it's whatever the team needs. I stepped into that role last year because that's what the team needed. I obviously love my role on the bench. It's very comfortable to me to be able to come in that way. But at the same time, it's not who cares what I want. It's about what the team needs, and that's what they needed last year.
Tyler, as far as role and minutes and everything, just from the entire team's perspective, do you get the sense that everybody knows what their role and what their minutes are going to be, or is this going to be a training camp on the side situation?
No, I think it's gonna come down to who's playing well. I don't think anybody's earned anything on this team. We weren't in the conference finals last year. We went into the finals last year, so it's I think it's really going to come down to who's playing well and who's competing.
So training camp will be one thing, and then whoever's starting 2 games in the preseason will be different.
Yeah, I mean, I take some of that as a grain of salt as far as who's starting in the preseason and who's not, because mostly opening night is when you kind of have the gist of who's in the rotation and who's not.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.